Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Blindseyepodcast, the podcast discussing everything you did and didn't want to know about being blind. My name, as usual, is Connor. I'm your host, and today I'm going to be talking about sunglasses, blind people wearing sunglasses, what's with the sunglasses, why I didn't wear them and now I do. And yeah, because there's a little bit more to it than I guess what people might think. Usual disclaimer, these are just my thoughts and my own experiences and some of the experiences of people I know, so keep that in mind. So look, today will be a bit of a shorter one because I was a little bit late with last week's episode, so I just want to make sure I get something out as it's been a bit of a upside down week. So sunglasses. Now, everybody will have seen, I guess, that stereotype of somebody who can't see. They usually have like really dark, blacked out sunnies and they wrap around the entire way. And there's a few reasons for that. So the first is, which is probably the one that people kind of get the most easiest, is glare. So some eye conditions make you prone to the effects of the sunlight, ironically, because your vision might be diminished or might be gone, but you still the surface of your eye still severely gets affected by the glare of the sun and is a bit more sensitive to it. So the first reason that somebody might wear blacked out sunglasses is for that. The other reason is more to do with maybe disfigurement. So there are some eye conditions that can kind of leave your eyes, I guess, looking a little bit different, or they can mean that your focus is a little bit out, so you kind of don't really know where you're looking. And I guess to assist with this, especially when you're out in the public, you might want to cover up because, you might be a bit self-conscious of the fact or whatever. And that's where my own experience is kind of interesting because my vision issue is just the optic nerve. So the eye itself is fine, but my eyes don't look like, if you looked at my eyes, you wouldn't know that I had a vision issue, apart from maybe the fact that I couldn't focus on you. But if I can hear someone talking, I'm usually able to look right at them as far as they're concerned. So for a long time, I never ever wore sunglasses for that reason, because, I didn't really have that self-consciousness of, being worried about how my eyes looked. But I didn't have these other reasons because glare doesn't really affect me in the same way. Like I get a bit of light perception and stuff like that, but my eyes aren't more sensitive to it than they would be, when I could see. So for me, I don't tick those boxes. But what I have done is I do now wear sunglasses, and it was mostly to do with when I started being out and about in the community more on my own, when I started moving around independently, because I had this issue where I would have a cane in my hand and I wouldn't wear sunglasses and I wouldn't look like I had damaged eyes. Therefore, some people didn't even realize that I was blind. And I guess to me, I would have thought, well, the cane in the hand would have been the obvious giveaway. But because I didn't fit that picture of dark sunglasses and the stick, I came into so many encounters with people where they were like, oh, I didn't know you were blind. You don't look blind and stuff like that. So then I had this whole dilemma of, do I give myself an easier life by filling the stereotype everyone else expects? Or do you kind of go, well, hang on, that's a stereotype to break? And I kind of still swing back and forth on this. I mean, now mostly I do wear sunglasses when I'm out. And it's just because it kind of has led to a little bit more of an easier life because I don't have to explain myself constantly all the time. And I wish I didn't have to explain myself. I wish I didn't have to, uh, you know, dress or whatever, or have accessories to kind of give somebody else an easier time of, identifying what's going on. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is when you come in contact with a lot of people during the day. The other side of it as well is that I now prefer to wear the sunglasses because when you can't see something, you're not really, well, I find myself, I'm a bit self-conscious about where I'm looking or where I'm seen to be looking. So, if I'm on a train or something and where, you're in one of those seats where, the people on the other side of the carriage are facing you and you're facing them, I do get self-conscious that, I don't know, like, I'm going to look like I'm staring at someone's tits, because I don't know that I'm not. And so it kind of goes in my head, well, like, I don't want somebody to think that's where I'm looking. And if I wasn't wearing the sunglasses, they have the whole moment's notice of, well, is this guy actually blind? So for me, in my own head, rightly or wrongly, I kind of go, well, if I wear the sunglasses, the general public will probably understand more that I am actually blind. And then they'll be a bit more understanding if they kind of think somehow that I'm staring at them, because they'll know otherwise. And that's just me. I don't know if other people who have vision issues think that way, but for me, that was a big part of it because, I get self-conscious about that. In addition to that, I also tend to wear them because when I'm not looking anywhere, I tend to just keep my eyes closed because, there's nothing much for me to see, for lack of a better word. Or what does come in isn't very usable. So I tend to just keep my eyes closed a lot of the time. And then, you don't want to be walking around like a moron with your eyelids closed walking around. So for me, it's easier to wear the sunglasses where they can't see my eyes at all. My eyes can be closed in the background and nobody will be any the wiser. It's also pretty handy as well when you're like, in a situation where you're supposedly supposed to be paying attention. If you're in a meeting at work and, you can just close your eyes and nobody knows the difference. So there are pros and cons to it. But yeah, these are the reasons that I mostly do it. And it doesn't really sit well with me because I don't like to kind of have to do what other people would expect. But unfortunately, it does mean a little bit of an easier life until, people in the public, I guess, have a better idea of the subtleties going on. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Unfortunately, though, which is kind of funny, well, it's funny now, but the sunglasses I wear, so they kind of have wraparounds and they kind of have these things on the top and sides and the bottoms that stop dust and stuff from getting in. So it's not just like flat glasses. They kind of encompass the whole eye socket region, if I'm explaining myself correctly. But what it means is a few times I've been like moving at speed and I've like accidentally tipped something, and then there's like this great little edge on the sunglasses that has gone straight into my eyebrow. And so far, I think I've had 5 stitches where my own sunglasses have cut my eyebrow open, and several other times when I've been wearing them, I've come very close to the exact same thing. And now it's kind of just a running joke of going, "Oh my god, I've hit something. My sunglasses are pushed back into my eyebrow, and I'm just waiting to feel the gash because it's happened once before, and not fun, but it comes with it's one of the hazards of the job in a way." I don't know, maybe someday I'll just have to get some like freaky black contact lenses or completely red contact lenses and just freak the shit out of people on a train or something. But that could go either way as well. So look, as I said, it was just a bit of a shorter one today. I hope that was kind of interesting. I am hoping within the next week or two to have some guests join me to talk about some topics that I don't really have any experience with. So things around like blind sports or parenting or, moving house and stuff like that, because I don't really have much experience in the sports area and I have no experience in the other two areas. But so I'm hoping to get people on Zoom and see how that goes. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for listening. As usual, you can get in touch with me via email by sending an email to blindseyepodcast@gmail.com. That's BLINDSEYE podcast@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, so if you just search Blind's Eye Podcast in Facebook, you'll be able to find the Facebook page. And my Twitter is @BlindsEyePod. So I will speak to you next time. Thanks.